What's up, guys? I do this every time. Ooh, there we go. What's up, guys? What's going on? Happy. What is today? Man, it's already time to go back to work, isn't it? Happy Sunday evening to everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. Give me just one more second. I just gotta do one more thing to the audio here, and we'll be good to go. Hope everybody's having a good night. Thanks for everybody showing up and smashing that like button already. I don't even have to say it. Looking at the likes, it's already a good ratio. So thank you. I appreciate that. One second. I just need to hear through these earbuds. We'll be good. Almost there. Windows 11 does not like recognizing these earbuds. All right, there we go. Now I can hear the music with you guys. All right, it's a little loud, isn't it? Oh, am I echoing? Oh, hang on. Am I still echoing? Let me know. Okay. One sec. One second. I just gotta figure out where it could be coming from. Should only take a moment. Oh. Is that better? Hello. Echo. Test. I'll wait for confirmation before we proceed. So let me know. Webcam audio? Oh, maybe so. All right, guys. Well, for the moment, enjoy the music while we get this figured out. All right. Is it still echoing? If so, I think I know how to fix it. All right, that was an adventure. All right, guys, thanks for dealing with that. Let me know if it starts echoing again for some reason, and I'll try something else. That was really strange. Anyway, what's going on? Hope everybody's doing good today. Lots of uncertainty in the market right now. A little bit of panic, I'm sure, from a few people that are watching. And it's just things are getting a little shaky. So I wanted to go live. I didn't actually plan on live streaming tonight, but just due to the nature of the situation, I wanted to check this out with you guys. And I'll full screen this in just a moment. But as you can see here, Bitcoin is not doing so well. Bitcoin is sitting here at about, right now, it just broke below 26,000. All right, so we're sitting at about 25,600, and we're heading into really dangerous territory. So why don't I just go ahead and show everything here, and we'll look at it from this perspective. Let's do that. Let's do one of those. All right. So here's what I want to do. I know I cleaned my chart off in the last video, so just bear with me for a second. By the way, guys, I'm using a slightly different setup today. So if things are just a little off, bear with me. It's my first live stream with this mic stand and with this using this camera and so on and so forth. So let's see. What I'm going to do is flip to the 4-hour time frame just to help put this in perspective, okay? And keep in mind, I've still got the EMAs up. Maybe I'll flip the MAs on just for those that are interested, but you can see it doesn't really change much. We sit on the 4-hour time frame, and all of the important indicators, the exponential moving averages and the simple standard moving averages, are all above us. So there is no EMA support or moving average support of any kind on the 4-hour time frame below us. All we have is resistance. So that tells us right now that price action is really bearish, especially when you consider how far we've started to pull away from where those levels are. All right, because they are all sitting at, the lowest one is sitting at 29,000, and we're just on a mission down to 25. All right, and then here's the next reason for concern. So as you can see here, we sold off pretty hard, and we bounced off 25.3, and I'll zoom out just so you can get a better perspective in a moment. But we bounced off 25.3. We consolidated for the course of about a week, and then it looked like we found support at 28. We were doing pretty good. Had a bit of a bull trap here where we bounced off 28. We found support at 28, bounced off that, consolidated, started breaking above MA resistance levels, shot all the way up to the 200 EMA. And this is why the 200 is just so important, guys. When you respect the 200 EMA or SMA, it doesn't really matter. They're usually pretty close together. But when you really, really, really respect that level, you will always do the right thing. So ideally, in a perfect world, if you had bought anywhere and you were looking to go long and you wanted to take profit, once we got here, this is going to be your best bet. This is going to be the best spot that you could possibly sell. And the reason is because this 200 level, which is indicated in red, I'll get rid of the standard MA just so it's easier to look at. This 200 level is usually going to be on the 4-hour time frame the strongest support or resistance level of pretty much any technical indicator out there. That's just a tip for those that aren't super familiar with technicals. So 200 EMA or SMA, but really the EMA on the 4-hour time frame is always going to be your strongest support or strongest resistance level, stronger than pretty much anything else. So on the way up, this was a great take profit spot. If you didn't take profit there, this was another opportunity and another opportunity. But as you can see, I mean, when we keep rejecting off the EMA like that, it's usually bad news when after try 1 or 2 or 3, we still don't break and we start getting strong sell-offs from there. So if you look here, first hit, major sell-off, next hit, major sell-off, next hit, major sell-off of a couple $1,000s. That's just showing that that price action is getting rejected, right? People are not in agreement with the fact that prices should be at that level, so everyone's selling, taking profit, and just locking it in because they really don't deep down believe it's going to go any further. Now, the reason why it's such a great play to do that is because you can sell right at the top, and then you can just wait on the sidelines and see what's going to happen next. If it breaks above, then you can re-enter if it holds above there, anywhere from, here to like here, and not miss a whole lot. But at least you'll know that you did the right thing here, and then you wait for play number 2 to start here, and then you enter for play 2, whatever that shows itself to be. But yeah. So anyway, we bounced off the 200 EMA multiple times, and things from there just have not looked good. Hard sell-off, consolidation, dumped all the way down to this 28 level of support again, which was bad news. And you can see here, we came in so hot that we really did not spend any time here whatsoever. I mean, we got one little bounce here and just straight through, and then we hit it as resistance, and now we're dumping. And so that's what takes us to where we are right now. And I'll answer a couple of your questions and read the comments in just a moment. But that takes us to where we are right now. So what I'm going to do is just take this support line, just drag it down to our next most relevant price right here, which is going to be 25,373 on Bitcoin. As you can see at this very moment, we are sitting extremely close to that. Even though the 4-hour time frame, we look very close. The price right now of Bitcoin sits at 25,700, so we're only about $350 away. So any minute now, bad things could happen. That's why I wanted to go live and just be here for it. If we hit this level, the number one thing that we should expect to happen is a bounce. That's what we should just naturally expect. There's going to be people that are looking at their chart that are traders. The first thing they're going to say, this is a level of support. This should be the lowest level of recent support here. So I'm going to take a chance, place a buy at support, and hopefully I can ride a bounce up to whatever point. Maybe they're going to just, make a quick $1,000 or something if they buy one whole Bitcoin. Maybe they're going to try and ride it up to the EMA again and hope that we have enough bullish momentum to get us there. Something. Generally, we're going to at least slow down at this point. Now, that's what you should expect. That being said, when you start to really look at these red candles in the way that if you look at here, this was a descending, broadening wedge right here that we had here. That's a technical pattern. I mean, it's pretty obvious what was happening. We got this consolidation right here. We broke below this level. All right. And then from here, I messed this line up. That should have been a little further down. You could just kind of see how we were consolidating on the way down, and it started to widen and widen and widen and widen, and then it broke out the bottom side of that wedge right there. All right, so breakout to the downside after breakout to the downside, no good news. And at this point in time, these candles on the 4-hour time frame are extremely large, and they're just getting bigger and bigger, and they're red. So a lot of selling pressure coming into this support level. Depending on how much people panic, this support level might not hold. So while we should expect a bounce, first and foremost, there is a chance that we just blow right through it. So we want to keep that in mind and be careful, because unless you know exactly what you're doing, you have hotkeys set up to quickly buy and sell, market orders or limit orders, and you want to play that game. Unless you're set up like that, technically, or I should say usually, this is called catching the falling knife. When you try to just place a buy in the middle of a downtrend without any confirmation that there's a reversal. So that's a very easy way to end up in some pain. So just be careful with that. But then that's going to bring us to the question, well, what happens if we fall through that support level? All right, and I'm sure that's what everybody's wondering. So let's zoom out just a little bit. To do that, let's go to the daily time frame. And as you can see, it's not looking so hot. All right, because now when you take a look at it from this perspective, this is taking a look going back to right here. This is April of 2020, by the way. This right here is December 2020 going into January. And so from here, this is January of 2021 to right now. When you look at where we sit now compared to the last 2 years, basically, what point do you see that we've been at this low of a price? Yes, there has been no point. No point since this day right here, which was about December 25th, 2020. So I guess Christmas wasn't, I'm sure, the best Christmas for everybody. Sorry about that. Sorry to hear it. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. So there is no support, no recent support levels for us to rely on. So if we crash below here, we have to now look for stopping points going all the way back to 2020 and before. That's not good. All right. A lot of people that are not super proficient with their charting, they're not going to know to look back that far. They're not going to really know what to expect. And so what that means is that there could be some people that, you know, if we cross this line, they're just going to panic sell and that's it. It's not going to be good. It's going to be messy. Now, there is something that I want to mention here, and it's something I talked about a little bit in the group chat, and it's just the fact that when you take a look at this big picture, I kind of see some similarities in what's going on now to what happened in like May to July of last year. And so if you just take a look at the situation right here, maybe I'll rectangle this to highlight it. Take a look at this situation right here and kind of compare it to the situation we have going on right here. It kind of looks a little bit similar. And so I would not be surprised if we see something similar go on. Now, what makes it even more weird is when you look at the months that it took place. This was about mid-May up until, what was this? The end of July? And when did this one start? Mid-May, almost on the same day. And I mean, we're spanning now halfway through June. And that point halfway through June was about when we hit the first bottom right here, the first test of the support level. So what I'll do, just so you can kind of clearly see what I'm talking about, I'm going to do this. Horizontal line. I'm going to place it right here. So just notice this right here. All right, so mid-May, we came off a major crash right here, just like we did right here mid-May. We hit support, or we found the support out of nowhere. All right, we bounced pretty hard, and we consolidated for about a month, had a little dip, which you could almost see or say is right here. Had a little dip, moved back up to the EMA support almost, and that's where we found our hard rejection point. Then we sold off hard all the way back down to the initial crash level. So at that point, if you're just factoring this move right here, that kind of looks like what's going on right here. And in this case, you know, the 200 EMA rejection down to the previous level of support would be like the 50 EMA rejection right here down to this previous level of support. So of course, patterns don't always play out the same exact way. Sorry, maybe I should full screen this so you can see it a little better. Of course, patterns don't always play out the same exact way. But if you're saying, you know, crash down to here, move up to 200 EMA, reject down to previous level support, and if we hold, you know, dead bounce and move up, we could see that same thing happen here. Crash down to support, you know, bounce off the EMA just like we did here. Major rejection that kind of fakes people out, but we actually hold at the support level. And then we get another bounce here, another final test of support where we do a triple bottom, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, somewhere here, which could take us to maybe July. And then maybe that could be our final touch here that really gets people spooked. But then whale buys kick in, institutional buys kick in, people buy the dip, and, you know, bull run continuation pops off from there. I'm saying that could happen, maybe not. But that is an angle. Now, if you saw my video that I posted recently a couple days ago, if you have not seen that already and you're new to the channel, just go ahead and click subscribe and check that out after this stream ends. Because what that video talks about is the reasons why I feel like Bitcoin is going to crash this year. All right, so despite what I'm saying now, which is kind of a bullish, positive bullish take on things, there are still reasons to consider why there's a high possibility that Bitcoin won't hold here. All right, and it has nothing to do with the technical levels here. It's just talking about how people feel, looking at news that's going on, looking at just the recession, the bad state of the economy, and people panicking regarding other things. And I touch on 5 different points. So of course, you know, after this stream, if you haven't watched it, just go watch it. Talks about that in more detail. But before we continue, what I'd like to do is catch up on some of the comments here, because I usually read those a little bit faster than this. So let's go ahead and see what you guys are saying. So Matt's Market, thank you for coming to hang out and support the stream. I appreciate it. By the way, guys, he does YouTube videos and live streams just like I do, and he knows his stuff. So if you'd like to, or I would recommend that you go ahead, click on him, hit that subscribe button for him as well, and he may even be live after me tonight. Who knows? You'll have some more content. What's going on, Rick? Thanks again for the support, being a member of the channel. Branson, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I do agree. I agree. I got your message there. And this is the dip we were fearing. Yeah. Let's see. What's going on, Dr. Dre? Shaping up to be a bad week. Rate hike coming this week. Markets will react. Yeah, guys, there's a lot going on. And I kind of want to talk about the recession stuff as well. Let's see. Skydive, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you. I appreciate the help in the last live stream with those spammers, by the way. Much appreciated. And let's see. Down 65%, Mike or Rick. Sorry to hear that. Happy Red Day. What's up, Chosen One? Thanks for the support on the last video as well. I appreciate your comments. Alex, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for all the activity in the Discord group. I appreciate you there. Jackie Green says, sell, sell, sell. Everything fast. Hurry, sell, sell. Bitcoin going to 5,000. Wow. There's a bear. Let's see. Anyone else? James 008. What's up? Oof, we're dropping pretty hard. We sure are. 25,300 double bottom. Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, Robbie, what's going on? Good to see you again. Robbie asks me, am I buying? And Chosen says 23,800 next level under this. Yeah. Am I buying Bitcoin or some Doge? So guys, yeah, let me talk about this, all right? This is a good question. What do I plan to do? At this time, I'm a little bit hands off with the market. All right, my last play, my most recent play, I messed around with Luna a little bit, the Luna Classic and the new Luna, trying to make some quick money there. But just due to the nature of the market currently, I am not feeling compelled to do anything crazy. And hopefully that kind of makes sense. I'm not feeling super compelled to do anything crazy right now. It's just, there's just so much bad news. And like I said, those 5 things I talked about in my last video, combined with just the overall negative movement of the market, my overall somewhat negative feelings regarding Dogecoin right now, and just altcoins in general and the projects. And I have a lot of not fears like I'm personally afraid. I just fear that other people will be afraid, and that's going to get priced into the markets, and that this may not be the absolute bottom because of that for a lot of different projects. So that's why I'm a little spooked, and I'm just playing it extremely, extremely, extremely slow. Excuse me, I needed some liquid, I guess. So because of that, I'm just playing it extremely slow, guys. I'm in no hurry to invest. The thing is, we're at such low prices right now that even if we go down further, or even if we bounce from here and I miss this dip, this part of the dip, I can still get in on any project at a really good price. And here's what I mean by that. Excuse me. Sorry, bear with me. Hopefully this clears up in a moment. Look at Ethereum right now. Ethereum was at $4,871 at its peak. Right now, it's at $1,346 per. When you put that into perspective, when you really put that into perspective, if I miss this bottom, let's just say 25,300, it's going to hit that, do a double bottom, bounce back up, and it's not even going to do a third, right? It's just going to take off. Bitcoin goes back to 30,000. That means, I mean, I could still get in on Ethereum under 2K or somewhere in this area. I would much rather play it slow. This is just my take, all right? Because this year at least, I'm not trading with a super large position, all right? I trimmed it down from what I had last year, just because of life. All right, but I'm not just messing around quite as much. So what I'd rather do is get in at a spot that I feel comfortable with and just kind of dump my money in there and call it a day and wait. For that reason, I'm just being very, very, very patient. So I'd rather either take the chance and wait for something like Ethereum to really bottom out, and I'm talking like Ethereum under 1,000. Maybe I could buy a dip at like 800 or 900 and load up there, or at least just get some confidence that 1,300 is the bottom and it's not going to go down to those prices, and just buy it on the way up. That's the way I feel personally right now. And I don't mind buying Ethereum at 15, 16, 17, 18, 1900, anything like that. I don't mind that. That's still a crazy dip. People are expecting ETH to 10K when ETH 2 hits. Buying under 2,000 is buying under 2,000 at the end of the day. That's still going to be a 5x or more play. So I'm not feeling like I need to just buy right now and just DCA and do all this complicated stuff. I'm trying to just keep it simple right now so I can focus on other things, as my life is just a little busier. So I'm not able to stare at the charts as much as I used to. So instead of doing all the buy and, DCA and time little entries and stuff, I still provide that info for you. But for me, I'm just waiting for two things to happen. Either we hit an obvious bottom and I load up at a great dip, or we get confirmation of a reversal and I load up on the way up. That's my personal play. So yeah, there's that. And then I have some other feelings about Dogecoin. Dogecoin is still overall my favorite project, okay? In the crypto space. Ooh, by the way, guys, Doge just went under 6 cents for the first time. If you just go ahead and take a look at this right here, you can see Doge just had a moment where it hit 5 cents, 5.0599. All right, so just barely 1,000th of a cent under 6 cents, and it's not looking so hot. But maybe I'll talk about my feelings on Dogecoin briefly in this stream. I wanted to do that in my next video, but I can also talk about it here. But Dogecoin is still my favorite project, guys. But as you know, I've always talked about what I think Dogecoin's real catalysts are for its success, and it's just because it's a unique project. Now, it's very similar to Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has the advantage of just being fundamentally better for an investment, because the way it's set up, it's going to increase in value over time, right? And everybody believes that, everyone understands the mechanism, and there's not really any questions there. As for Dogecoin, it doesn't have that same setup. So now you've got a currency that's utility is really just being useful to exchange as money. So really the only thing that increases the value is more people accepting it as money. And so until we hit that point, a lot of the other stuff is just, it's not going to move the needle very much. And my main concern is that I don't see the community doing the same things that the community was doing last year, right? There's just not as much excitement. There's not enough talking about it. I don't think we are doing a good enough job marketing Dogecoin. I just think we could overall do better. Now, I know a lot of the reason for that is because the dev team, and I respect this, wants to focus on making the project better first, and then naturally people will want to adopt it. That's their angle. But still, until we hit that point, I think there could be better opportunities for investments. Just to be totally honest, if you're trying to look at what should I buy the dip on and ride up short term, I think there's going to be some faster movers when we start to recover than Dogecoin will. Now, if we get on the way up a random Elon tweet that gets people excited, or a catalyst out of nowhere like we thought we had a couple weeks ago, that could change things a little bit. But I can't foresee the future. I look at what I can see, and it's just that Dogecoin's a little quiet. The community's quiet. There's just not a lot of hype. So I expect the percentage gains on moves to be slower than on something that has more fundamentals behind it, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, something Solana, Polygon, or anything like that. So yeah, but still, I love my Doge. And then also I have some concerns about if Dogecoin goes under 5 cents and starts getting towards the Dogecoin millionaires average. I think that's going to spook a lot of people as well if he ends up in the negative. And, if he decides to take, to finally sell or something, which I don't think he will, but there's just a lot of things that could potentially make Dogecoin have a little bit of a redder moment than other coins. So Yeah. Anyway, that's my quick take on it. But I am waiting for the community to get live again. Let's see. So to answer your question again, Robbie, am I buying anything right now? No, I'm not. I am strongly considering, though, as soon as I see any signs that we are at a bottom and we're reversing, I am probably going to load up on Ethereum and definitely mostly load up on Cardano, ADA. And here's why I say that. If you look at the price of Cardano right now, it's just so cheap, it would be foolish to ignore the price of Cardano. Now, back when we were coming from $3, if you look at my lines that I drew, these were kind of like the levels to look at. Now, obviously, I drew some levels of resistance, some levels of support and resistance, but my dip zone, I had, the sweet spot. If we had a chance to buy, my zone was in between like 140 and 175. We are at 46 cents. It would almost be foolish of me not to look at this for potential buy opportunity, especially with it just being so cheap per share. I know percentage gains what matters at the end of the day, but I'm still a normal person. I like to have a lot of something. All right, it's just me. So just knowing I could load up on a ton of Cardano ADA shares and call it a day and just wait for this puppy to hit $5 in like 1 or 2 years, I'm really feeling that a lot. That's going to be an easy over 10 to 15x play. So I'd like to load up on that. I have confidence based on the fundamentals and the project constantly improving that Cardano will be one that hits that without a doubt. With Dogecoin, it has higher potential. It's more of a meme, in a way, meme-ish play. You're relying on the community, the hype, the pumps, the Elon activity, in addition to the actual usefulness and good news. So that has more potential. Maybe that could be a 20-25x play or beyond, but it's not a short thing. So I'm at this year in 2020, I'm looking for more short things. Cardano is looking like a play I'm going to buy a lot of. And then Ethereum, secondly, is something that I'm going to be loading up on just because, like I said, ETH at $1,000 per just seems like a no-brainer. Not going to be buying any Bitcoin. That's just a little out of my financial range. I can't buy a whole Bitcoin, so I don't really plan to do that. And then Dogecoin, I will buy some of it if things look okay once we continue dipping and we don't just dump. But I have some fears about what Doge might do under 5 cents, so I want to play it carefully, because it might spook people, considering the Dogecoin millionaire, who's kind of been the unofficial leader of the project, will actually be, for the first time in a long time, he'll be negative, and we'll have to see what he does. But that's not going to be good. With all the negative things going on, like war, economy. This is James' comment, James 008. He says, with all the negative things going on, like war, economy, politics, it only seems like a major crash is coming. I agree. Skydive says, I'm not touching the market till August. Smart. James says, if we go under 10K, would I compare this crash to the 2008 housing market crash? Yes. Yes, I would. What's up, Cedric? Good to see you again. Thanks again for the support and supporting the channel. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, remember when we got ETH at 1700 and we thought that was great? Yep. That's my toys. What's going on? Welcome to the channel. Good to see your name. That's the second time it went under 6 in the last hour. Yeah, Doge is not having a good time. The thing is, when you look at the project, all right, keep this in mind. Ethereum's down 6% on the day. ADA's down 5% on the day. Doge is down 5% on the day. Technically, Dogecoin's doing the same thing others are doing. It's just the fact that Dogecoin is so much cheaper. People think that it's, people are not thinking all the time about, yes, but there's this many circulating Dogecoins. They're not always thinking about the math. Yeah, it's 6 cents times a quadrillion or something like that. They're just looking at the price and saying, oh man, Dogecoin's almost a penny. Dogecoin's only worth 5 pennies right now. That's so bad. Doge is dead. And that just, because so many people are retail traders and they're not just super smart thinkers, a lot of times that's all it takes for people to do something that doesn't really make sense, like just sell. The senator in California is trying to pass a bill to make Dogecoin legal tender. Serious drinking again. Yeah, I heard about that. That's going to be great. There was just a little bit of concern because I saw some other YouTubers talking about it. A little bit of concern that he might be just trying to use that for a marketing play, because he said specifically that he would draft a bill to make Dogecoin legal tender, and that's definitely great, and it would be good for him to have support of the Doge community. It would also be good for us to just have that exposure, but we would have to hope that he would actually follow through with that. And I'll be honest, with Dogecoin not having all the support in the world right now and not being fully developed, I don't know if he actually would follow through with that. We'd have to see. But that would be extremely exciting and an extremely major catalyst for Dogecoin. That in itself could propel Doge right back up to, the 10s, 30, 40, 50 cent range. Because that is, like I said, that's just the ultimate catalyst for Doge. So that would be huge. Any questions that anybody has? You're drinking? I am too, but it's just a chai. I need a beer, I'll be honest. The way things are looking right now. All right, so let's flip back temporarily to Bitcoin here and just talk about what I really expect to happen next, because this is important. Yeah, me too, Scott. Me too. So again, let me just map out scenario 1. All right, in case we are going to copy the previous movement, I'm just going to use the polyline here and just indicate what I'm talking about. And I'll change the color in a moment. Pull back to here, big sell off, little bounce. All right, now we have the triple bottom here, and then the big takeoff afterward. Potential scenario right here. Is that easy to see? Right, so this is what could happen here if we're going to repeat, because it is looking eerily similar. This is what I think could potentially happen here. If we hold here and bounce, I think we could have a similar play out of here. And so we could be seeing a bottom at 25. Either way, if that is the case, this calls for us to bounce and then have another touch at 25. So for that reason, I would much rather wait and see if it's going to play out that way. That's just me, in my personal opinion. Like I said, I don't mind buying higher if I'm buying on the way up, because, let's just say I buy at 32,000. I'm super late to the party, right? I didn't buy my Bitcoin at 25. I bought it at 32K. I missed out on $7,000 profit. But if Bitcoin's going to $100,000 anyway, what is $7,000? It doesn't really matter, because I'm still making $70,000 of profit. Who's counting pennies at that point? That's just my perspective. And I'd rather feel more confident and know that, all right, I bought on the way up. Sure, I missed out on a couple pennies, but I'm making 70 racks or $70,000 versus, I buy here thinking, all right, this is surely the bottom. And then we crash. And now we're sitting at $8,000 per Bitcoin. And I'm like, man, if only I had waited and saved my 25 grand and just been a little more patient, I could now have 3 Bitcoins instead. That's just the way I look at it. That's a way bigger, more important difference there than just trying to be super early to the party. Now, if we do crash, where will we end up? And why do I think that this won't potentially play out the way that it seems super obvious? There's 2 or 3 different things I want to mention here. Number 1 is going to be that this bounce right here where we took off, I don't know if you guys recall that day, but we were live streaming like the day before, the day after. I can't remember if we were live on that day. But the reason why we didn't crash here, because it looked like we were going to, especially if you really look at what was going on here, it looked a little scary. But the only reason we started getting these massive green candles was because randomly a rumor was sparked on Twitter that day saying that Amazon was natively integrating Bitcoin as a payment method, and that Amazon was accepting Bitcoin as a method of payment. That was some guy on Twitter that just wanted to see, and he joked about it afterward and said that this is what he was doing. He just wanted to see if he could spark a rumor and people believe it with no source. So he was just trolling everybody. But everybody started hitting retweet, including myself, and everyone started believing it. Everyone started getting bullish, and that just started the bull market. You know, it saved us from this crash here, and it got us all the way up to here. We did a little pullback, and we just kept going and going and going and going up to this point. And this is when it was disproved that that it was a lie. And that's when people started to actually, I don't know if it was actually that long. It was a little before that. People, I think it might have been somewhere like here. Then it came out that it wasn't true, and people sold off. You know, a lot of people took profit and everyone's disappointed. But at that point, we were already out of the hole. People were already feeling bullish. And so it just continued. But I think that because that the reason we moved out of here was off of fake news, I think that may be the reason why we didn't hold this bull run and continue up to 100K like everyone was really feeling. And that's why, you know, we ended up right back to where we started, because there was already going to be a crash that was waiting to happen, that was probably due to happen, that got canceled off of fake news, right? So now we're just picking up where we left off as things should have been. So I think that's why we're back down here. I still think there were a lot of bears that were waiting for the price to get significantly lower, that were expecting the bear market to continue for longer, that had their money kind of devoted to a buy somewhere closer to like 20,000, maybe 15K, that did not join this bull run here. And so because of that, you know, we may have ended up with more bearish people shorting, and also just a lot of people that wanted to go long not buying. And when you don't have enough buying pressure, eventually the price usually trails downward. So that could be why, in addition to the war and all the other bad things going on, of course. Another reason why I don't necessarily think that this triple bottom play is going to hold up and we may end up crashing is because of us continuing to just look weaker and weaker and weaker. And this is going to be some things taken from the last video. Us continuing to look weaker and weaker and weaker at levels of support. We keep hitting these low levels, having these bounces, and then coming right back down to where we fell to. That's not usually a good sign. That's not a great sign of people feeling good about the project, of people feeling good economically. All right. And then, I mean, there's just been constant scams in the crypto space. All I hear when I go on Twitter is information about rug pulls, people getting rug pulled from all these projects. And even now we had one of the projects that people trusted, the Luna project, that was supposed to be a stable project. It was a solid coin called Luna, and there was a complement to this that worked hand in hand called UST. And just like USDC and USDT Tether, it was supposed to be a stable coin that was tied to the dollar. So, you know, if you were doing, you know, let's just say you bought Doge at 5 cents, you sold at $1, and you wanted to take your profit and lock it in, but keep it in the crypto space instead of taking fiat, you know, cash for it, you could technically have traded your Doge for one of the stable coins that is always worth $1. And that's kind of how you cash out and lock in your profit until you want to use that money for another trade. And so, you know, a lot of people had money held in UST just sitting there as, you know, the equivalent to the US dollar, waiting for the next trade. People had hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. There were billions of dollars altogether that were in UST before it crashed. And now we know that, you know, UST is worth like, what, a penny right now? So even if you were a millionaire, I mean, you lost everything. And that's not good when it's supposed to be a stable, trusted project. Then the whole Luna 2 thing, you know, it went okay, but now Luna, the price of Luna is back to where I expected it to go. There's just so many things wrong. And there's also rumor that the creator of, now he has said this is false, but that the creator of Luna took out like $2.5 billion months before the crash happened. People are wondering why that was the case. There's just so many things right now that are not looking super hot in the crypto space. And we're hearing government talks of regulation again, and we know that's usually when people get spooked, because unfortunately there is a lot of stuff in the crypto space that is not all fine and dandy legally, you know, like money laundering and all that good stuff. So, you know, people do not like the government getting their hands on decentralized things. Now, do I think regulation is necessary? I don't think that regulation of some sort is a bad idea. At the end of the day, I like the crypto space for being a higher risk, higher reward space and a more private space where you can just kind of do your own thing and it's not governed. But I still would not mind there being some sort of rules that can protect people financially to some extent and some sort of involvement from the SEC. That would not bother me personally. The whole rug pull idea I think is ridiculous and should be punishable. I shouldn't be able to make a BSC token in 5 minutes and cash out millions of dollars and rob people of their money and it be okay. That's just cheating life, right? And it's not fair to all of those that I scam. And it shouldn't be that easy to do it and unpunishable, amongst many other things that are wrong. So, but the problem is, how do you govern cryptocurrency while allowing it to retain its whole status of being kind of private and decentralized? And that's where things start to get difficult. And it's another reason why I said I thought Bitcoin wasn't going to have a strong 2022. And it's because everyone has been waiting for the Bitcoin spot ETF to drop. That's been one of the main catalysts for Bitcoin for a while. There's been talks about it, and then it keeps getting like pushed down where they're like, all right, maybe it's not coming, then it comes back up. And everyone just, keeps talking about this Bitcoin spot ETF and how a direct spot ETF could be, one of the big major catalysts that's going to dump a whole lot more liquidity into the market and help drive the value of Bitcoin up, as it allows institutional investors and other large money investors to get exposure to Bitcoin without having to invest in the risky crypto unregulated space. But the problem is the SEC, like I said in my last video, the SEC has said that they will not be approving a Bitcoin spot ETF until they can feel comfortable with Bitcoin. And, and feel confident that it's not going to just get manipulated, because they're a little too concerned about the ease of manipulating prices and such. And so they would need to set up surveillance on Bitcoin. How do you do that? Well, the community would somehow have to cooperate for them to have some kind of like backdoor to Bitcoin. That's probably not going to happen. That we're starting to get into talks of defeating the whole purpose of cryptocurrency and decentralization when you start talking about central parties directly getting their hands involved on decentralized projects, especially the government. So what that tells me is there's probably no Bitcoin spot ETF coming anytime soon, which also means that catalyst is pretty much 6 feet under until further notice. That's not a good sign for Bitcoin either. And there's a couple things too. Other than that, when you really look at the big picture, I mean, we missed all of our price targets for last year. We didn't finish anywhere near 100K. We're even 3 times as far away from 100K as we were by the end of last year. We're just going in the wrong direction. And the main thing, the big kicker for me, and this is just me talking my opinions, guys. The big thing for me is when we talk about the fact that Bitcoin, because this is really the whole reason that everyone's so bullish on Bitcoin, is because it's pretty much in the programming for it to become more valuable. So we all have this just absolute confidence that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, right? But the thing is, that catalyst is directly tied to the Bitcoin halvings, and the next Bitcoin halving is not until 2024. So when you look at the time that's in between there, from now, which is early to exactly mid 2022, to when that event is going to occur, 2024, you can say that if you're just trying to put forth reasonable expectations, there's a chance that the ramp up, the bullishness and the hype for the next halving event may not kick in until, let's just say, mid 2023, as we start to get much closer to the actual event. So that leaves us a whole year to a year and a half window of no major catalysts other than what we already have for Bitcoin. All right. And by that, I mean no real need to discuss the halving. It's not anywhere nearby at this time. So when you take the halving event out of the equation, which is the guarantee of Bitcoin increasing in value, when you take that out of the equation and you just look at the project, why do we feel so bullish that this year or anytime soon, Bitcoin's going to hit these miraculous price targets? And when you look at it from that perspective, you realize that, for the whole rest of 2022, there's a chance that until we get closer and the hype starts to kick in and it gets to hype time, there's a chance that we may not be at the bottom and we may not have any or anywhere near enough bullish hype to keep us from crashing or to get us back to 69K or anything like that. This could be where we sit for the next 6 months to 12 months, somewhere in this area. And by this area, I'm talking, and I know y'all aren't going to like this one, but this area, I'm really saying somewhere like 15K, or maybe even, let's just be a little extra conservative. Like, we could sit around here for the next year, anywhere within this window, because there's no real reason at this time for us to be up here and beyond. Now, when that halving event occurs, I do think that our price range is probably going to be what the people that know more about supply and demand of Bitcoin and whatnot, like Plan B, what people have expected, and that's, you know, somewhere up here, 100 to like 250K. But like I said, we're just not anywhere near there yet. So what's the rush to get there? I think everyone has just been kind of over expecting Bitcoin to perform for no real reason. And another reason I say all that, guys, is, again, another reason I mentioned in the last video, Bitcoin's catalysts are already here. So when you take the spot ETF that isn't coming anytime soon out of the equation, all of Bitcoin's other catalysts, okay, so we took the spot ETF and the halving event and pushed that to the side because they're not, let's just say, at least coming for a couple more years. So what's supposed to increase the value of Bitcoin? Positive catalysts, right? More adoption, positive catalysts. What are those things? Places accepting Bitcoin as methods of payment. Bitcoin being accepted as legal tender. And, you know, just general adoption, so on and so forth, spreading the word. Kind of the same catalyst as Dogecoin almost. Bitcoin already is having those catalysts right now, yet the price is crashing and has not stopped. You know, Bitcoin is legal tender in El Salvador. Other countries are talking about accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. Those announcements didn't even move the needle that much. Bitcoin is being accepted many places now in like retail locations as methods of payment. Bitcoin ATMs are being scattered across the globe, so people have easy access to it as well, and exposure. On Twitter, you can tip people in Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin is out there. Everybody pretty much knows what Bitcoin is now. Now, when we talked about this like a year ago, and we said, well, 1 year prior, who really know about cryptocurrency? And if you ask someone walking down the street, what is Bitcoin, what is Dogecoin, you might not get a favorable amount of people knowing what you're talking about. Let me move this a little closer. But as of now, you ask someone, what is Bitcoin? They were like, oh, it's that cryptocurrency, right? Like, everyone kind of knows, even if they don't know about Doge yet, Bitcoin is getting close to peak exposure. The only way for Bitcoin to get better at this point, I think, is for maybe the dev team to figure out ways for it to be more efficient via the Lightning Network or something similar. Or I should say, and for Bitcoin to just, the adoption to increase. More and more countries, including the United States, making it legal tender. Most places accepting it as methods of payment. Banks getting involved with it, etc., 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 etc. That's what I think. And, but other than those things, I mean, we've got a lot of catalysts factored in, yet look at all of this right here, all this selling off, despite all the positive news. If you follow Bitcoin Magazine on Twitter, almost every day, and I do recommend you follow them if you don't, but almost every day they're posting something bullish, something that, you know, you don't necessarily know about. Events being held. I'm sure we'll scroll for just a moment here and see something positive. Global currencies against the US dollar over the last 10 years. All these down. Here's Bitcoin up 511,000%. South African student purchasing goods with Bitcoin. American Express will launch the first Bitcoin rewards credit card on its network later this year, June 11th. That was yesterday. Legendary investor Drunken Miller says, if we're going to have an inflationary bull market, I want to own Bitcoin. All these positive pieces of information, endorsements, unofficial people, you know, or I should say people unofficially endorsing Bitcoin just out of their own initiative. None of this is moving the needle on Bitcoin in a positive way. So what's going to move the needle in a positive way? That's kind of where I sit for why I think Bitcoin has a high possibility of just continuing down. Because why should it stop at this point? Is it the positive market outside of the crypto space that should be keeping Bitcoin from crashing? I mean, what positive market? We're in a terrible financial state right now as well. So there's even more reason for Bitcoin to crash. So and before I continue, let me just look at some more comments here. I see a few of you have said something. So it might be a good time to stay sober. Scott M says, people also just don't have money to buy, right? Everyone's paying so much for anything. The last thing they want to do is buy crypto, especially since their portfolios are taking such a hard hit everywhere. Exactly. About a year ago, Kid Wilson, what's going on, man? Good to see you again. Kid says, about a year ago, I was in a chat and I recall a lady saying how happy she was about Doge. She was like $5,000 at 30 cents. Since then, Doge hasn't had a decent run. I feel bad for all those at 55 cents plus. Hey, I actually remember that. I remember that too, kid. I remember that stream. That's weird. Now that you say that, I remember that lady. She was there for that one stream and she never showed up again. But I remember that. There was actually 2 or 3 people that came in and said something similar just about how happy they were. But yeah, it hasn't had a good run since. And I think Doge could be bottoming out here before a reversal. But I just, just like I need to have more conviction that there's going to be good things with Bitcoin that move the needle, I feel like I need more conviction with Dogecoin similarly that, there's good things that are going to move the needle. And I really want to see the dev team and the marketing side of Dogecoin without Elon Musk having to be the one that does all the work. I want to see more people talking about it and trying again. When you compare Dogecoin in this first half of the year, just on Twitter, the activity, people trying to push adoption and all that. Consider the activity you've seen this year so far compared to the first half of last year or even any point of last year. This year is just abysmal in comparison. No one's talking about Dogecoin right now. No one's trying to get new businesses to accept it. The push has died off. It's stopped, which means that there's no reason for the price to significantly increase because we're not just going to get adoption out of nowhere. We have to be the one spreading awareness. And I think people have just gotten tired at this point. Tired of doing it, tired of trying. But unfortunately, I think part of that's just due to us not really having the same people on the dev team as other projects have. And I think that's one of Dogecoin's weak points. So like on one side, yes, Dogecoin's dev team, they're honest, well-meaning people. They're not here for a rug pull. They're not here to make a ton of money. They're just here to, do only good, just like the motto. But, we're not really, unlike other dev teams like the SHIB dev team and just meme coin dev teams, even for valueless projects, we don't have the people and the marketing push that those other projects have, where people are going out and actively calling out to companies and being like, hey, we want to pitch our product to you. This is why this is so good. And just the hype overall, Dogecoin's not dead, but at this point the hype is dead, and I think that's a big problem. So that's why I'm kind of taking a pause on the Dogecoin right now. And I'm just sitting out of the market right now, just looking, just waiting for my next opportunity. But Doge is still going to be the main thing I cover and talk about. But I think it's a good thought process to diversify, especially if you're holding a Dogecoin bag right now and Doge is low and you're trying to figure out, well, should I just buy more at the dip? Try to buy another token just in case Doge does not perform the way you want on the way up. Diversification is important. Buy some Ethereum, buy some ADA, buy some Bitcoin, buy any of the top rated projects that you feel comfortable in. That way, at least you get some sort of recovery if one of the others fail. So that's just my thought. FIFA says, I'm about 20K at the moment, looking to hold long term anyway. I've stopped looking at every day. Oh, you're down about 20K? Yeah, that's the thing. Looking every day can make you do some unfortunate things sometimes. So that's a really smart idea. If you're down, usually it's just best to close your app. If there's nothing else you can do about it anyway, but sell and probably make it worse. So if you don't think selling is a great idea at any given point, like right now or $10,000 ago, there's no point in selling now. As long as you believe in the project, you just got to wait it out. So I'm right there with you. Guys, I went back in on the 1 minute time frame here because Bitcoin is continuing to lose momentum and it's just not looking super good. We're going to really have to see what happens at this level right here, because we're getting really close. It could be any moment now. And I don't really want to end the stream until I see Bitcoin do something here. So we'll give it definitely like maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes to play out, see what's going to happen. You know, we could just hit here, bounce, go up. That would be cool. Even if it's just to head towards 26K, I'll take it. It could be, you know, we go to the red line and just dip a little below, fake out and break back up. All right. I'll take that too. Or we might see, you know, we hit this line and we start dumping straight to 24, down to 20, and it's going to be a bloodbath. So I just want to be here for it. You know, we might as well. And yeah, like Skydive said, because of the nature of the economy right now, people don't have a whole lot of money. And that's why, you know, there's a lot of talks about the recession. And if you just look on YouTube and look at some of the top financial crypto gurus, I'm talking people like Graham Stephan, Andre Jick, Meet Kevin. That's kind of the trio right there. Those are the people I watch the most often. If you just take a look at some of their videos recently, it's just talking about recession fears. We are in the recession. The recession is coming. And if you just listen to why, you start to realize that it all kind of makes sense. Things are getting really expensive. The price of gasoline right now, for example, is getting crazy. People don't want to pay those prices anymore. And all of that, you know, just when the price of basic things and necessities and goods goes up to a point where people don't want to pay for it anymore, that's when things start to have a negative snowball effect and the bubble begins to get close to popping. So for example, my vehicle that I have has a large engine and gets like 9 miles per gallon average. It's really bad, and takes premium gasoline. Now, I knew what I was getting into when I bought it. And at the time, to fill up, you know, with the price of gas, even with it being premium, 18 gallons of gas, I was paying like, let's just say 65, 70 bucks for a full tank. All right, you know, yeah, that sucks, but it's just a weekend cruiser anyway. You know, I don't daily drive very far. Even when I am driving daily, you know, things are within 5 to 10 minutes of my place of residence, so it didn't really matter to me. Now, though, the price of gas has gone up to the point where if I want to fill up, $75 just gets me 3/4 of a tank. And that's when, you know, the fraud prevention on my debit card hits. So I can't even fill up anymore from empty. And it probably cost me a little over $100 to get a full tank just in a coupe. So imagine people with large tanks. What happens to them? We're talking over $100 just to fill up with an average consumer vehicle. That's not a good look. So then what starts to happen? Well, people don't want to travel as much anymore because it's too expensive just to drive. We're not talking about a plane or train ticket anymore. We're talking about the people that would opt, that couldn't afford something like that and would just opt to drive. You know, now they can't even afford to drive places, to travel. So hotels start to lose money. Venues start to lose money. Amusement parks start to lose money because they start getting less traffic. Price of goods, maybe it's just buying eggs, milk, whatever, you know, groceries. Those prices start to go up with inflation. And then people, if they're not getting raises at their job to really keep up with this increased cost of living, by the way, guys, this is looking really bad. As I speak, it's looking terrible. We are coming in hot to that level of support. Let's keep an eye on it. We might see a massive dump. You see, this is what I'm talking about. People are trying to buy it and hold it up, thinking this is a dip. But people are going to have their stop losses set right under this. So if we hit a certain point, we might see a massive flash crash here as people's automatic sells go off and the price just dumps, you know, because then it would be a chain effect of people's stop losses getting hit. So let's see if we hold or we dump here. I'm kind of wanting to see something exciting, so I wouldn't mind to see a quick sell-off. But yeah, you know, with the cost of living going up, if people aren't getting the adequate raises at their places of employment, they're not going to be able to keep up, which means then, you know, going out to eat becomes less possible as restaurants raise their prices. Going out to do basic stuff just gets more expensive and they can't afford it. Even buying groceries becomes more expensive, and it just gets, it just starts to really get rough. And then, of course, with the price of housing going up as well, that's definitely in unaffordable territory. I was just doing some house shopping today, and there was just the minimum price I could find a house for, like pretty much anywhere, unless it was the cheapest states in the US, was like $300,000 for a decent, and I'm just talking not run down in a couple bedroom property. And maybe you could find one for 200 to 250, but there's just nothing under that unless you're going down to like, the one bedroomers or the like trailer homes or something like that. I'm talking about like a single family home. No. So how are people supposed to move out that don't make a lot of money or that are single income? It's just not, it's not possible. You can't buy. Like, that is not sustainable. And so then you have just people not doing anything because they can't afford it anymore. And so demand starts to significantly decrease while there's still supply. And then you start to see things tank in the complete opposite direction as businesses start to go under, as they're not getting business anymore, goods sitting on the shelves, amusement venues and whatnot, getting no traffic. People have to start lowering their prices. They have to start laying people off. People now start losing their jobs as businesses start to get less income as well. They have to start laying people off. So then you get job cuts, you get unemployment, and then that's when you start hitting that recession territory where things get dangerous, because now people just don't have money anymore, or even worse, they don't have jobs because businesses start running out of money. It starts to get just really nasty. And so when you consider that we're in that kind of situation, is that a positive catalyst for Bitcoin? Not necessarily. Now, a hedge to inflation, Bitcoin may be. Sounded like Yoda there. So with inflation rates increasing, yeah, maybe that's good news for Bitcoin, because this becomes, the better way to store your assets. Instead of holding cash, you can trade it for Bitcoin and just hold on to that. But as far as just the confidence that people will have enough money to hold long positions on crypto, that starts to go out the door as you start considering the fact that there's going to be jobless people and people that just don't have spending money. And then there's nobody here to buy the dip, right? And people start to panic because there's not enough buying pressure. And that's how you start getting into scenarios like this, where even something like the crypto market starts to sell off along with the stock market, and you end up in the red. So anyway, I know that was a long explanation, but all right, guys. So we are right at the support level, trying our best to hold on. Now, yeah, we crossed below the actual line, but as you can see, we're still ranging here. We're still trying to hold. Let's go ahead and go back to this day and see. Okay, so 25,373 was the actual price, it looks like. Let me hover over the candle to make sure that's correct. Yeah, 25,373 was the low for that day, and that was May the 12th. So we're pretty close. Now it's June the 12th. Ooh, we went under. We're at 25,317. We're going to have to see how this holds up. In actuality, real support, though, when you really think about it, is going to be like 25,000. Because even though we're under the previous high or the previous low, people are going to try and be hopeful until we get down to the next mental level of support. So if we can just stay above 25K, there's still a chance of reversal here, in my opinion. But if we go under that, it's going to get really ugly. And again, let's just take a look at the big picture here. And you can actually see that there is a chance that we will hold here because of the previous consolidation that happened right here at the end of 2020. It was right in that almost 25K level down to about 22.5. So we still have to break below that, and then we end up in this range right here. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Let's go back to the 1 minute. That's messed up. I want to be here for the bloodbath. I was invested at the last crash back in June. I'm just used to it now. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're starting to get a little used to the negative price movement here. And guys, I just want to make it clear, you know, I am not like a crypto or stock market bear by any means. I like to see prices go up and everybody making money. The reason why I typically make the most noise about negative movements and, you know, go live for negative moves over positive and discuss, you know, more negative things versus positive is because in general, people know what to do when the price goes up. Buy, get excited, whatever. You guys don't need help with that. Yeah, I can go live and have a hype stream with you guys and cheer and crack a cold one, sure. But, like, you guys don't need me. Or no one in particular, like, needs assistance when the price is just going up and not stopping. You buy, you hold, you're happy, cool. You're probably not selling anyway because of the euphoria. So, what do you need me for? But people start to really panic and get spooked. And also, a lot of times make bad decisions when the market starts going down. A lot of times people sell at the wrong points. You know, they sell right at the bottom. I've been a victim of that before as well. When Dogecoin first crashed and I didn't have my chart up, I literally sold at the worst possible moment I could have. And Dogecoin had dropped down from like 60 cents or 50 cents down to 16. I sold at 16 and it went back up to like 30. I kid you not. This was like 2 years ago or something. So, I like to cover the bad stuff because a lot of people are just unaware of what to do, or they're just unaware of the perspective. Because it's also, you know, when you're holding a long position, you want to naturally think positive. You don't want to keep considering the bad. Who wants to do that? That's no fun. All right. I'm going to flip here to the chart focused view, because we are selling now, boys and girls. Levels are not holding. What you can see here is we came down to support, tried to hold it, went under. People tried to buy the dip, but they found resistance now at what was support. And so now we're getting the big sell-off candles on the way down. Not good. Now, like I said, we're going to go down to 25K first. We're probably not just going to breeze down. Yeah, we broke support, but 25,000 is going to be the mental level below the technicals, where everybody's like, okay, but if it goes under 25,000, then I'm scared. All right, so we got to consider 25K. Now, if it goes under that, bad news. While this is happening, because we're trying to find some support on the way, so this is going to take a moment at least. Let's go check on the others, see how the rest of the fam is doing. All right, Dogecoin actually has not budged. Now, if you guys remember our talks that we've had before, a lot of times you can look at the altcoins and gauge the way that the overall market is feeling. So in a situation like this where the alts may not be budging, they might think that the whole Bitcoin sell-off right now is a bit of an overreaction and it's not going to get much worse. Now, while Dogecoin looks that way, Ethereum is actually not holding up. So that's not good for Ethereum. And overall not good. And Cardano is actually selling off quite a bit as well. The only thing is, though, it hasn't sold off that far yet. It's still at about 45, 46 cents. When we got here, we were talking about Cardano. It was still at 46 cents. Even though this looks significant, Cardano has only fallen 1 cent since we've started talking about it at the beginning of the stream. So yes, there's 3 red candles here, but they are worth 1 cent. Not a big move. All right, not a big move. Let's go back to Bitcoin. All right. Wow. Bitcoin is schmoving. All right. And now we are at this level. This is the moment of truth right here. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, please click subscribe first and foremost, because why not? If you go on YouTube to find people talking about crypto, stocks, finances, making money, avoiding losing money, trading properly, why not add this channel to your list? I mean, does it make sense? So click subscribe, first of all, and then once you're done, click the like button so that more people can find this stream, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. So thank you. I do appreciate it. Couple comments I missed. The cost of living is rising here in the UK at an unprecedented rate, and a lot of people are really struggling. It's looking really bad. Man. Yeah, that's rough. That's why I said I'm waiting till August. By then, we'll either be steady or full-on Great Depression crash. Yeah, I think it might be Great Depression crash, to be honest. The price of housing is just, 300,000 and 5.6 mortgage rates. Exactly. That's what I was looking at today. I need Rick to chime in on this. Rick the mortgage man. Oh, there he is. See? There's the test at 25. I'm not just making this stuff up, guys. It just happens all the time. Not looking good, by the way. I think we blew by this. Oh, we are trying. Oh, this might be the stop loss right here. The stop losses might have been at 25,000. If we break under this, we might see massive sell-off quickly down to the 24s. Oh. I feel like a sportscaster right now. All right, guys. Bitcoin's trying to hold the line here, but we're sitting at 25,001. Looks like we've got the buyers outstrengthening the sellers here. Oh, we couldn't hold. Bitcoin goes under 25,000, but was it a fake out? Was it a fake out? Oh, it appears it could have been. Playing tug of war. The buyers and the sellers right now. Somebody doesn't want it to go under 25K. That's all I can see. Rates are expected to go up another 1%. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. A little bit of a tease under 24. And this is why I said, guys, whoops, keep an eye on 25K. Because that's the mental level of support, right? So yeah, you look at the support line. And the way you can really tell is when you go under support and it doesn't just dump, absolutely sell off. That means people aren't panicked yet. So when you look right here, this was the previous level that we stopped at, but we went under it. We held under it for a couple candles and people were okay. Then we had a very controlled sell off here down to 25,000. So obviously people weren't panicked yet when you look here. So that tells you that stop losses weren't there for one thing. For the most part, stop losses were not there, and that was not the key level of support for most people. But if you look here at this big stopping right here of this movement and this massive green candle, this is the strong level that people have in mind. They're looking at the mental level of support, which is at the even number of 25K. So now we need to see, will this hold, or are we just going to fall right back down and fall through that? That's when bad news comes. Skydive, if you can do your thing, I would appreciate it. She was already on it. I just knew she'd have the fast fingers. That's why I said it. Appreciate that. My rent is about a little over 1.5K a month. That has risen over the last 5 years by about 400 GPP. Wow. Yeah, my rent has gone up significantly because I'm in an apartment right now as well. And the last apartment I was in went up 100%. And then we left there and we're in a new place and that went up significantly as well, like 33%. Just year over year. It's getting wild. And a lot of people are putting things on credit cards, so wait and see what happens in a few months when they can't make those payments. We're going to see another bailout for the banks. Ooh, yikes. Didn't think about that. Nitin Huda says, I think 2022 is just buying year. What do you think? Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be a point in 2022 and we'll need to see where the bottom is first, right? Unless you just want to DCA the whole way, but I don't have enough of a trading account right now to really make that worth my time. So there's going to be a point where we hit what seems like an obvious bottom and it's just going to be time to load up. Because like I said, there's this dead space in between now and the next halving event that Bitcoin's going to have. Now we know that's the next actual major catalyst that's going to make Bitcoin's value increase 2x. That's just the way it should work. It's going to be 2 times harder. All right, this looks like it could be the reversal, guys. Lots of green. Let's keep an eye on it. This could be a buy spot for those that are trying to do a little chance buy on leverage or something. You know, honestly, this would probably be your best bet to go long and have your stop loss be 25. Let me, I think I have $50 on my Femex account. So let me just go long and see what happens. Who cares? It's $50. We'll take a chance. Please hold. Oh, it's in Tether? Why is it in Tether? Convert to Bitcoin, right? This $50 isn't going to do anything else from you sitting in that account, so why not take a chance? And if it goes under this, guys, we are going down for a while, so why not? In my opinion, at least. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, so there's this dead space in between now and 2024, which is when the next halving event's going to occur. So in between now and then, there's just so much time for something bad to happen. For Bitcoin's price to either not move very much or just hover where it is. Like anything. Anything can happen from now and then. So once we hit the bottom, whatever looks like the bottom, that's going to be the time to load up, because we know going into the end of 2023, as we get closer to 2024, that 2023 year is when the hype is going to start to get priced in. People are going to start buying it up for that 2024 halving. So 2022, in my opinion, when you find the bottom, that's the buy. This is the buying year, but we just need to wait for it to stop selling off. Weekly 200 EMA just blasted through it. Oh yeah, I forgot to go to the weekly time frame. Yeah, guys, I'm going to just delete some of these lines so we can look at the indicator. But this is also, we've got some support here. Weekly 200 EMA was at, oh, that looks like 27K. Now, okay, this actually matches up. If you look here at the simple moving average, the 200 simple moving average is actually going to meet right at the support line I had drawn out manually right here at about 22, which is at the bottom of that move here. As you can see, the bottom of that candle, that's exactly where that other support's going to hit. So this is the most likely stopping point if we end up crashing down into the 24s and down. It looks like we're going to stop at 22, and that's going to be just the most obvious potential spot to place a buy at. And then we'll just have to see what happens from there. Now, we'll take a look at this bounce here, see if it looks strong and like it's going to continue for a while. Because if it's not going to continue selling off, then we could probably wrap up, pick up later. Yeah. Let's take a look. Let's give it another maybe 5 minutes. Not looking so good. I'm getting a ton of notifications right now. This is interesting. Again, if you guys are new hanging out in this stream, if you have not already, click that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. And more importantly, hit that like button so that more people can find this stream. That really helps me out the most. So I appreciate the support, guys. Means a lot. Now, if you like, we do have a Discord group. Typically, it's members only, which means that you would have had to click the join button after you subscribed. The join button next to it to join the Discord group. And in there, when I'm not streaming, and I'm usually not streaming, so throughout the whole day, every day, any questions, any discussions, any thoughts like the ones I'm sharing on this stream, anything like that, you're just always free to ask me questions. And then I'm always talking in there too on my own with new information. So if you want that information, feel free to join the Discord group. Now, typically it is a paid thing, so you would have to, like I said, have clicked join on this channel and been a member, and that's how you get in. But I'm allowing people in with read-only permissions, so yeah, you can't ask questions, but you can still read everything that's being said by me and others for free. So if you have interest in that, go ahead and find the link in the description, and that is going to be your way in. All you have to do is click the link, and you're in. Now give that link about 10 seconds because I think it's old. Actually, I took it out, so hang on. Discord link. Okay, there you go. So there's the link, in case you want in. All right, so now as we can see here, we're looking for a double bottom opportunity here. This is going to be that second chance to buy. If you didn't buy here and you're really feeling confident that Bitcoin's going to stop at 25, this would be the spot that makes the most sense. All right, now I am more of a fan of waiting for green candles to hit before, and not buying on red. So I would definitely be careful, because just the fact that we rejected and we came right back to support, to me, overall is not a good sign. So by the way, my long position that I did get liquidated because I bought, I didn't buy right at 25K and we went all the way back down. So my $50 gamble just went down the trash. But it wasn't going to make me much anyway. It was just worth a try. It was for funsies. Now we'll see what happens here. Do we hold at 25? This ideally here at 25, that would have been the good spot to go long. By the way, I came in way too late, but I didn't have the patience to wait for the pullback. So we'll see here. Do we hold and go up? If so, we could be headed straight towards that 200 EMA. If not, we're probably headed down towards 22,000. Now let's take a quick look while this decides. What has Dogecoin done? Absolutely nothing. So Dogecoin pulled back like 1/10 of a cent to 5.8 instead of 5.9, and now it's back heading to 6 cents. Good job, Doge. You can see here by this green, Dogecoin's really looking to recover more than anything. So this could be a good sign if you are one that is set on Dogecoin and that's what you want to ride up. Dogecoin looks to be holding pretty well. Let's take a look at Cardano, and not my console. Cardano bounced off 45 cents pretty hard and is now at 46. But you can see here still a lot of red, selling pretty hard with... That was a big bump. I want to see what's happening on Bitcoin to make it do that. Oh, so Bitcoin did fail the 25K line, but it's still trying to hold. Now, if it hits 25K as resistance and can't get back above it, then we might see some continued selling. So let's put our line here, or even here, just to be conservative. We're going to need to find our way back up here. Big rejection wick. It is possible. Going to need a nice big candle here. And I put that line up there so that we don't get easily fooled, because we're going to need it to really get above this resistance that it just created right here. Not just above 25K. Go, 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 go. Oh, we're trying for it. Now we need to, of course, hold and close above all this. Next level's right here. Next level's right here. This one being the most important. And this is why trading on leverage generally is not even the best idea, because with all the extreme fluctuations, if you don't have a whole lot of money, you just need to know what you're doing in the first place. Because when you trade on leverage, you're not supposed to all in at any given point. That's how you get liquidated. Your liquidation price gets hunted, and then you just get closed out of your trade for no real reason when you weren't necessarily wrong. You just didn't have enough wiggle room to play with. So if you ever trade on leverage, you're supposed to use it to your advantage, not just all in YOLO gamble. That's how you lose your money. So especially if you're doing something like 20x or even 100x, you trade with a quarter, or not a quarter, just a percentage of your total holdings at a time. That way you save the rest of your money as backup so you don't get liquidated. But what I did was just for fun, so I didn't really care. All right, we are trying. We're getting, if you look here, the resistance level shorter term is right in this area. You can see rejection wicks to the top side. We're trying to go above it, but we are struggling. But the bigger picture, I mean, we really need to find support above here to feel like we're comfortable. But we did get a double bottom here, so that is a good sign. Potentially. But we need that confirmation. If we get confirmation, we'll wrap up the stream, no problem. So we are just waiting for that to happen here. Don't forget, guys, again, I'm seeing new faces in here popping in. I know you guys aren't necessarily chatting, but don't be a stranger. But at the very least, don't forget, click that subscribe button. I do appreciate the support. We'd love to have you guys in the next stream, at least towards the beginning of the next one, because we're about at the end of this one. So thanks for the support, everybody. This could be it. Let's see. The reason I'm waiting on this is I've seen this happen so many times on the way down. What looks like a double bottom on this third move here doesn't have enough steam, and then this is kind of the move that ends up being the continuation downward. It's almost like a little bit of a fake out. So I just want to see if that's going to happen, or is this going to make its way up? What's up, Bulldog Trading? And am I falling asleep? No, I was looking at my phone, just checking on notifications. But it is late. I should be going to sleep soon. 17K soon. What's going on, Landon? Thanks for hanging out, by the way. Don't forget, click subscribe if you're new. Which you are. I haven't seen your name before. Good to see you. 17K soon. Very possible. I guess we should take a moment to talk about potential price targets. Wow, look at that red candle. That's pretty pretty astounding. Talk about potential price targets if, that immediate level doesn't hold, because we really only looked at one thing. So as you can see on the daily time frame, plenty of support right here. And that's going to be in this consolidation range where we had consolidation in 2020, in December 2020. That was between 22,500 and about 24,600. There's some strong support there. Very strong support. So we could see that be a potential bottom. Once we go under that, things start to get really scary because we had some candles here, but the next actual consolidation zone where we actually were looking at supports and resistance levels was in between about 16,500 and right near 20. So then that becomes our next range. And obviously the price could stop at any point, institutional or not institutional, but whale buys could come in, support the price, keep us from going further, and instill some confidence in people. Of course, that's possible. But it's just not likely. And I like to look at what's likely so that we can make accurate predictions. So that's where we're at. Let's just see what Bitcoin's doing right now. If it doesn't do something here in the next minute, it's going to be time to go. Right, because we're nearing that 2-hour mark on the stream. I don't want to keep you guys forever. But Branson says, thanks for the stream. Going to jump off. Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for all the support. We will catch you next time for sure. Bitcoin loves to take its sweet time. So let's see what it's going to do here. Would like to see it break above this level where my mouse hovers. And this is also going to, clear that 50 EMA right here. Get it above that first level of support. And then we got to get above this. Kind of confirm the double bottom scenario and find support. Once we do that, we should be golden. Should be. All right, getting some green movement. Let's get above that blue line and hold. Thanks, Branton. Will do. I'll try my best. All right, we made it to the 50 EMA. We're starting to see some increased strength. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want to see. And that part's not what I want to see. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Let's do it. I want to see this candle in the next one. We're looking for support here. Trying to even find it here at the 50 EMA versus going all the way back to the blue level. Little bit of struggling. And by the way, this is not going to predict what's going to happen overall, because we know already, by the time we end this stream to when, we wake up for work tomorrow, whatever, that could be 8 to 10 hours, depending on where you are or later. That's a long time for stuff to happen. So we could go to sleep and things look bearish and it have reversed or, you know, us be holding above support, we close the stream out and wake up tomorrow and we're down at 22,000. Lots of things can happen in 8 to 10 hours, but I would like to get a general feel for how things are playing out. At least. Pull back, bit of a rejection wick. We're trying to hold. We're trying our best. This is pretty normal. Getting some big green movement. Could we start seeing some investor confidence start to come back in? And this, you know, if we do hold here, guys, and we really make a significant move back up, that really could start to be a good thing for entertaining the idea that we're going to do something similar to what we did right here. I'm sorry, it just right here. You know, we bounce out of there, out of the hole. A lot of consolidation. We bump up a couple thousand, start looking positive. Maybe we have another pullback after we hit the 200 EMA or something like that, all the way back down to 25,000. And, you know, we then make a, I'm sorry, we just did that. So then we just do this part right here. Have one more touch to 28, 29. In this case, it would be about 25, 26 because of where we are. And then that could be the last touch, the third bottom right there. And right now we're at the second bottom. So we could probably do one of those, is what I'm saying, and then take off. It is very possible. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead, close it out. Bloodbath in the market Monday. Yeah, we're going to have to see what happens tomorrow. I've heard a lot of worst where I have ever experienced in 28 years of investing. Man, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Tafame. That is rough. I know there were some other people saying in here earlier they were down 65%, which is, you know, it's definitely bad. I will say, though, just some positive information. I've been watching a lot of, you know, taking in a lot of financial content, and there's been just a lot of rumor, or not rumor, but just reminders going around that in no 20-year period historically has the stock market just ever gone negative. So if you invested at some point, there has been never a point where you've invested and then 28 or 20 years later, you were not at least at break even, right? So the market's always going up overall. And those kind of things, just the overall confidence that people have financially, those things, like you can see right now, they trickle down to the crypto space. The crypto space isn't necessarily going down right now because there's so much bad things in crypto, even though that's part of what's going on. Overall, just the economical state, or the economic state of the world, the United States, fears about war, there's just a lot going on. So that's what's dragging us down. But it won't last forever. So I know my positions will recover, your positions will recover. We just got to be patient and do the right things at the right time. So that's why we're here. Don't forget, Tafame, if you have not already, click that subscribe button. I would appreciate it and would love to have you in the next live stream. We're here at about the 2-hour mark. We're about to close it out, but usually I do all the informative talking towards the beginning, so you'd be able to catch that. Skydive says, sadly, I think it's going to get worse. Yeah, we'll see. We will see for sure. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. I think, what is that? More news on the inflation. So, you know, if it's sounding bad and people get even more spooked, we could see more selling. Problem is, many were buying in November before this carnage and liquidity is dry. Exactly. Liquidity is dried out. That's what we were talking about a couple minutes ago. Especially with prices of everything increasing, people just have less money. People can't afford stuff. You know, times are hard. Paying for your house is hard. Paying for goods is hard. Services, travel with gas prices, like it's all difficult. So then what money do you have left over for crypto? You know, the risky investment. Not a lot of people can afford to play that game right now. So there's not going to be a whole lot of buying pressure. That's just the way it goes, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm right there with you. All right, guys, it looks like we are in a pretty decent spot. We had a bit of a double bottom. Tests of support here, rejected. Stop losses were not triggered and made us spiral out of control. Potential long positions, you know, they probably did their little thing, liquidating some people here, whatever. But then we went up, we rejected, found, you know, bullish engulfing candle right here. Boom, came up, big movement. Now we're at this orange line. And we have to see what happens. Just keep an eye on this level. You could see we rejected right at the spot that I put the resistance. But we're bullish up to this point. Now we just have to clear it, find support on the top side of it, move up, and not end up back below 25,000. If at any point tomorrow we're back below 25,000, guys, it is probably doomed. We're probably headed towards lower 20s and below. That's all I can say. I will, you know, if that happens tomorrow, I'll be looking to get back on this live stream with you guys, but just keep an eye on it. If not, we could have found a very short-term bottom, and we may just bounce a couple $1,000s before we proceed to sell off again for maybe a third time and hopefully find a triple bottom. I don't know. I know, me personally, I'm not holding a long position right now, so I'm by all means just like, you know, whatever happens, happens. If, you know, there's a dippier dip to buy, I'll buy that dip. But at the same time, I'll buy anywhere as long as the price is going to go up, so it doesn't matter to me. Anyway, y'all, thanks for hanging out. Tafame says he subscribed. Thank you, I appreciate that. Michael Saylor must have went hard at 24K. Yeah, you know that he's having a field day right now. That man never has a bearish perspective. He will be bullish on Bitcoin at any price. Kind of funny. Yeah, welcome. Good to have you. Yeah, I will try to make something. I always miss the opportunities. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Again, subscribe if you haven't. Click the like button one last time for the algorithm so that when this gets uploaded as a video afterward, more people can find the playback and enjoy the stream that you just watched. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow in some sort of content. Follow me on Twitter, too, if you want updates. Links for all that good stuff's in the description. And you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks.